Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And boy, oh boy, Dragon, did we just watch a polarizing M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, M. Night. M. Night. You trickster, you devil. Oh boy. All right. So Dragon, let's start things off by kind of giving us let's kind of go into our history with the franchise. Dragon, I imagine Unbreakable is a favorite of both you and I.
I do enjoy Unbreakable a lot, yes.
Yeah, Unbreakable is one of my favorite movies. Especially after revisiting it, it's always been my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. But after revisiting it, I gotta say it's one of the top movies of at least the decade that it was made in. The 2000s, if not one of my favorite movies ever. I mean, I just think that thing is structurally perfect. It's like one of the best slow builds of any movie I've ever seen. And then we get to Split, Dragon, and Split was an interesting, like that was an experience because I remember distinctly. I was like, when I saw Split, I was like, Dragon, there's a twist at the end of Split, and if I told you it, it would make you more interested in seeing Split. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Dragon. You went all the way until Split was on demand, and you did not know what that twist was, right?
Yes.
And so, what was your reaction to the whole the Unbreakable of it all after that movie?
I was enjoying the movie, but definitely when I got to that part, I was like, oh my God, yes, man, this is great. Oh boy. It's just like, then of course, definitely revisiting it for some other stuff. I gotta tell you, like, I found like a lot more. It kind of, I mean, it basically Split's kind of a great standalone movie, but again, it kind of, that ending kind of gives you a great rewatch, if you know what I mean. It kind of gives you a great thing to
Oh,
kind of read into what the movie was doing, and it kind of basically it's Split's definitely a multiple, no pun intended, definitely a multiple viewing in a good way. It's like it's definitely the Unbreakable twist. Definitely was very spectacular, and it's so underplayed. But I love that thematically. No, I'm sorry, not even just thematically. I mean, like playing the theme from Unbreakable. It's like this great little like. I knew there's a familiarity before you get the big moments. That's all really delightful.
all right. And then we get to Glass, Dragon. Then we get to Glass.
Yes, we get the glass.
Okay, I'm just gonna like this is going to be spoiler three, but suffice to say, I cannot wait to talk about the spoiler cast for this movie. Oh, Dragon, there are things that happen in the last 10 or so minutes of this movie that I don't know. I just don't know, Dragon. Would you explain to the folks that I'm in a state of shock right now?
Yeah, folks, there's definitely a few things in the third act of Glass that kind of left Tiki stupefied, and me on the whole, especially after the third act. I gotta tell you, I think on the whole, if I like a non-spoilery thesis, is that there's definitely some stuff to noodle on after you see this movie, and I think it's kind of a testament to some interesting filmmaking where you see a movie and you're coming out of it, you're not necessarily like on one, you're not there's like it's not fair just to say, oh, it was great or it was not great. I think it's just the movie's an experience. At least I felt this way. I felt the movie was an experience, especially considering the Unbreakable and the Split factor of it all. And
Okay, I'll say this much. I definitely had much more enjoyment out of this movie than I did just it was that it's one decision, Dragon. It's one decision in the whole movie. Like otherwise, I got to admit, Dragon, I think I like this movie better than Split. It's certainly not a classic like Unbreakable, but Unbreakable I feel like is in a league of its own. But whereas Split was kind of like a very standard sort of like in captivity kind of movie with a twist. This movie is a pure M. Night Shyamalan movie in like a balls to the walls kind of way. Like this is an M. Night Shyamalan movie the way your mom used to make it.
God. Well, I
And
mean,
In being an M. Night Shyamalan movie like that, man, this is risky, a chore as hell, balls to the walls filmmaking, and I respect the hell out of it for it, regardless of how I feel about the way that certain characters were treated, 19 years down the line from one of my favorite movies. Dragon, this movie certainly has a message. It certainly has a point. It certainly drives home that point. I feel like for what M. Night wanted to do, he stuck to landing and he nailed it. The only question is, am I okay with what M. Night did? Like, can I sleep at night tonight, knowing
And
that this is the I don't know. Again, I'm tiptoeing over spoilers here, Dragon.
and again, that's kind of the feeling you're talking about, kind of like can you live with it, sort of thing. That to a lesser extent, that's what I'm talking about. Teague. I'm saying you come out of this movie and you're kind of basically you're piecing together what you saw, and you're wondering because again, in many respects, I feel it's continuing thematically what I loved in Unbreakable, and I really love that. Now, on the whole, whether you come out of this movie loving it or not, you're definitely gonna respect it because again, it's really good filmmaking, and it's a lot of really a lot of again. There's again we as you can see just by the poster image, there's definitely a lot of M Night continue like the color theory and stuff from Unbreakable, which I love. So I mean that's all great, and there's a lot of really great. A lot of the touches you loved and remembered from the other two movies, I think, are definitely present throughout this film. And there's just going to be moments in this movie where you're going to be questioning things, and then of course there's going to be M Night Shyamalan doing his stuff, and it's going to then kind of make you wonder about things. And that's the frustrating thing because again, I was having some issues with the movie, and then certain things happen. I was like, well, kind of solve some stuff, that kind of fixes a lot of stuff, and it's kind of factoring like does that necessarily fix what had happened earlier, and does it kind of play as well? And again, there's some bold, gutsy choices in the third act that kind of make you think, well, we didn't go a certain way, and I kind of respect it for it. But yeah, it's but yeah, I mean, let's jump from kind of like shock factor to let's talk about kind of our performances we got in this movie.
Yeah, sure. We can basically just kind of approach the three leads that we see here.
Yeah. So Bruce Willis is infamous these days for sometimes he cares, sometimes he doesn't. Mostly he doesn't, but there was a time where he actually cared about acting. And I gotta tell you, I think this is it's always refreshing to see Bruce Willis care again. I think he cared about this. He didn't do a lot, and I don't know if half of that's because I'm saying he did stuff in the movie, but I mean it's like with three main characters, I think the load might have been lightened for him. And I wonder maybe that's the equation that kind of got him to do a performance again. I'm not sure, but it's I thought it was Bruce Willis showing some care for the character that kind of made him big for the most part. At least a character that really. I get a sense from Bruce Willis that, and again, Bruce Willis, you never know. The guy's an enigma sometimes. He's kind of a fame jockey who hates what made him famous. Sometimes he's not. Sometimes just a guy who owns Power Plant Hollywood. You never know. And I feel
sometimes he's just a guy that makes really good chicken.
Sometimes, yeah. And the thing is with Bruce Willis is that I feel like I think he resents the roles that made him big, like Die Hard. I feel that because I think it's just like that everybody and their mom knows Die Hard. Again, Die Hard's like it's embroidered on Hollywood with action movies and cop movies and the whole shebang. And of course, now we have like Die Hard on a skyscraper, Die Hard on a bus, Die Hard this, Die Hard that. I'm sure somewhere Andy Samberg's having a grand old time, but no. But seriously, that's the thing. I think Unbreakable was kind of the perfect niche for Bruce Willis, and I feel that was the role that like it was something that wasn't like not everybody's talking about, but people who saw it really like it and they respect it. And again, like it's not the thing people go to with him instantly, but it's kind of the more artistic thing that again kind of made M. Night's career, but at the same time, kind of like I feel more people would go to Sixth Sense with like Bruce Willis in like a non-action role. Over Unbreakable, and I feel it's a nice little. I think I would love to think that he respects it, and that's why he kind of delivered on continuing where that character left off. I'd like to think that.
Yeah, I think Bruce Willis does a fine job. I mean, I think performance wise, McAvoy is of course the MVP of this movie, as he should be, because
Oh,
my God.
sure.
But I don't know, Dragon. Again, it's like with David Dunn, there's certain things in the movie where it's like I will say this, Dragon, that we'll get into with the spoiler cast. I love what they did with Dunn's son.
You know what's cool? I just want to bring this up here because we can talk about it. Son, it's the same kid from the first Unbreakable. It's amazing.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks so. I was like, okay, did they just find a guy who remarkably look like that kid, or did they actually use the kid? Because again, as you can imagine, it's the kid growing up, and he's a dead ringer.
And then I don't know, just little throwaway Easter eggs like Shyamalan. Like, hey, you're the guy from the stadium. Oh, I used to be in with the wrong crowd back in the day. Little winks like that.
Yeah, it was great. I lost my mind with that. Like, oh my god, not only is it just a Shyamalan cameo, it's continuity with the Shyamalan cameo.
Right.
Geeking out with my buddy I saw this also a few friends who had kind of different experiences with basically they're all caught up on it, I presume. But one next to me had long time with Unbreakable and such, and had rewatched Split, and it was like, oh my god, it's the dealer from the stadium. I was like, yeah, yep, I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think this movie has such a lived-in reverence for Unbreakable, and it's so cool to see the continuity at play. The Beast is definitely fits with David Dunn's MO of, targets he would go after, as we saw in the first movie.
Of course.
It's almost remarkably similar, with the first movie, the chained up girls and the in the abductor and everything. It's a very, very similar kind of situation. Again, I don't want to reveal too much.
Well, sure. The point is, this McAvoy continued the stellar work that he did.
Well, getting into McAvoy. I mean, I think McAvoy is even more impressive in this movie than he was in Split, because I feel like in this movie the personas change more rapidly. I feel like with Split you get more time with less of the personas, whereas in this one the personas, Hedwig is probably the main persona you spend time with in this one, but there's still, you're still bouncing back and forth. Like there's scenes where you might go through like 3, 4, 5, 6 personas in the span of like 2 minutes.
Because in Split, in total, I think he has, and these aren't even like, because you technically with Split you have, okay, so there's Kevin Wendell Crumb, and he doesn't even count as a personality because that's the guy. Then you have 23 personalities, and then you have the 24th, who would be the Beast. So he definitely, again, we got a brief tease and Split of a few of the extra personalities, but we really got to see even more of them here. A whole slathering of them. So it's McAvoy pushing.
My personal favorite new one was the film critic.
Oh god, yeah, that was. I wonder if I forget if that was Orwell or not, but yeah, it was. Yeah, they had the film critic.
Regardless, I would like to think that's kind of a wink and a nod to Shyamalan's character from Lady in the Water.
Well, the thing I loved most, I noticed it in Split, and I was so delighted we had a moment with this personality here, Norma. There's a personality called Norma.
There's a persona named Norma. Yes.
Yes. Because when I was watching Split, I saw that name. I freeze frame like, oh my god, Norma. And she got a bit.
Oh god. All right.
Anyway, so then of course, I mean, basically, it's not just the fact that we see more personalities, and of course, we have two big added benefits to him here. One, Beast is already established. It's not a build-up to the Beast, which still works, don't get me wrong, in Split. I'm just saying that was the big introduction to the Beast, and that was tremendous, the way that pans out. And he has like his natural setting and everything. Here, though, Beast could come out at any second, so there's an element of tension. And you also have there's like, kind of a can you tame the Beast kind of question. It's kind of one of those things we kind of play with. So my point is we have arcs for the personalities as well as just having the personalities, and that's pretty substantial.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Okay, and of course, let's start up.
Dragon, Sam Jackson is going to be really hard to talk about without giving away spoilers.
Well, the cool thing is, of course, with Sam Jackson, he's kind of on an opposite end of the spectrum with Bruce Willis to a degree. Where Bruce Willis, there's kind of that sometimes he's invested, sometimes he's just given up. In the case of Sam Jackson, sometimes he's playing himself, which is delightful. Don't get me wrong. Or he's playing, he's really dialing into the character. And I feel this is a time where he's dialing into a very familiar character that he's just picking up where he left off, which again I feel is quite. It might sound like, of course, he's going to play the same character. Well, you know what? Sometimes you don't get that in Hollywood. So I think we should applaud that when we can. It's a
I
rarity.
just think the tension of what this character is actually planning and kind of like the razor thin like is he even still there mentally? It's just played so well. It's one of the most exquisite parts of the movie in terms of writing, I think, from the Shyamalan perspective. It's classic Shyamalan.
Without getting too into Glass, without saying exactly how, we do kind of get some insights into Glass and to where kind of Glass has been for 19 years in terms of kind of the big Unbreakable kind of ending of it all. Like where do we go from there with him? We don't forget that in the movie. I think it's important. We remember where we left off with him, and we see he's definitely got some unfinished business. And of course, there's a big kind of there's definitely the gears are definitely turning in the mind of Mr. Glass. And of course, we have some really great sequences that kind of show that remind us of the motivations and trauma of Mr. Glass. I'm going to say it's quite horrifying, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh yes. Anyway. Yes. Should we talk about? I mean, this is going to be probably the hardest thing to talk about. Should we talk about some kind of our fourth, kind of the character behind kind of the shot here, so to speak, kind of our Sarah Paulson character?
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely the glue that kind of holds the plot together. I'll say that much.
She is trying to help them. We can definitely say that she is trying to help them in this movie, and I like that Sarah Paulson bringing kind of that demeanor of she's trying to help them, but at the same time she's kind of she's she's trying. Sorry, let me rephrase that. She's trying to help, but at the same time, she's helping by saying that, guys, admit that you're crazy, admit that you have a problem. Okay, that's kind of what she's doing in this movie, and as we can see here with this the whole thing, it kind of unites all movies essentially. The idea of like the psychological state manifesting powers. That's definitely something we can split big time with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I feel like there's certain things with her that we can't exactly talk about. So,
Of course, certainly, yeah. Anyway, let's see. I'm trying to think of what else we should say about the film that's non-spoilery. Well,
I think the directing is absolutely on point. It's a beautiful looking movie, and I do think it has some really really suspenseful sequences, as well as some Shyamalan awkward humor.
yeah, there's definitely some Shyamalan, some age-old Shyamalan banter that is just still not that played well over the test of time. There's still some Shyamalanian banter going on there. Yep. Let's see.
I think it's very well in the film. Yeah, is not James Newton Howard.
All right, Tiki, you're kind of breaking up a little bit there. So you're speaking of the score by James Newton Howard, correct?
Not by James Newton Howard. Nonetheless, it reuses some themes by James Newton Howard, of course.
Right. Yes.
Dragon, I don't know. I think my computer's on. We might want to
Right. Okay,
start
so
trying to.
okay, well let's try to blur into a close then. So like on the whole, I'd recommend this to people who are fans of who basically I don't think this is necessarily for a general audience. I feel if you liked Unbreakable and you like Split, I mean definitely if you wanted you definitely want to see it for the conclusion factor of all, but also if you like those two movies and you like that kind of that flair of Shyamalan, definitely worth watching. You kind of need to see it, right?
Yeah, I mean, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, the one thing I'll say about it, Dragon, and this is where I'm kind of coming down on it. At this point, I feel like it works better as its sequel than it does as an Unbreakable sequel. And that's all I'll say without giving away anything.
Well, I think it fits well within a trilogy. I'll say that much. I feel there's enough of Unbreakable there, so I don't know. I'm that's the way. But yeah, sure. It's I hear where you're coming from on that. Though. I got you. You can understand that, yeah.
More question. All right. I have one more question for you. So you've this is the second movie you've seen in 2019, right?
Yes, because I saw The Upside and I saw this. So yeah, it's the second movie I've seen in 2019 so far. Yes.
All right, this is also the second movie I've seen in 2019. I saw Escape Room last week, and then I also saw The Upside. Or no,
Oh,
I'm sorry. I've been meaning to see The Upside. I'll hopefully be seeing that by this weekend. Dragon, my question to you is Glass or The Upside? What is your current number one?
oh God. Jeez. I mean, look, I love Cranston as much as the next guy, but I just that oh man, it's making me pick over Cranston. Darn it, I'm probably gonna pick Glass as the number one, two movies into it, but I mean, I really enjoyed The Upside. I thought it was fun. Not like it was inferior. It was just Glass. I think Glass had a little bit more substance to it. So Glass, I guess, in the big 2019 ranking, that is of two. Sure.
Dragon, that's the thing, is that I feel like since now I'm gonna be doing vlogs on every movie I see with or without you. And at the end of each one, I'm gonna kind of like keep track of the ranking, and the list is just gonna grow bigger and bigger and bigger as we go on. But we're at humble beginnings right now, Dragon. So right now, my list: number one, Glass; number two, Escape Room.
Well, it sounds like we're simpatico on that one.
Yeah, but Dragon, I want to emphasize Escape Room also a lot of fun, and Deborah Ann Wool kicks some ass in that movie.
Very nice. Good to see she's doing well in light of things.
Yep. All right, so Dragon, we are going to do a little bit of a build-up to our Glass spoiler cast. You want to explain the parameters of that?
Well, folks, essentially, we're gonna before we do the spoiler cast on Glass, we're gonna go through Unbreakable, then Split, and then Glass, and kind of three separate, I guess, kind of retrospective, kind of slash spoiler podcasts. And basically, we're gonna take them on their own, kind of in a buildy way. But we're gonna kind of look at Unbreakable as kind of intake, but more importantly, kind of track Shyamalan's kind of progression as a director throughout that, kind of have kind of Shyamalan as the connective tissue, most assuredly, and kind of see how things kind of feed into each other. So basically, we kind of basically talk about Unbreakable on its own, then when we get the Split, we can kind of reflect on Unbreakable and Split, and then of course we get the Glass. So basically, if you came into it watching Unbreakable, fear no Glass spoilers, there, friends. Come see Unbreakable. Don't worry about us talk. We're not going to talk about Glass at all because we're not going to be guys like that saying, "Oh, did you see what happened in Glass?" Well, we're talking about the first Unbreak. We're not going to be those guys. Come in clean, bask in the kind of the best of Shyamalan to a degree with the first two movies, and then of course Glass, which I assume this movie will divide people, but I liked it. I liked Glass. Okay.
I like it, but I also feel divided on it. So, I'm of two minds of it.
No, it's maybe not a slam dunk, but you know what? It circles the rim. Circles the rim. Impressive.
All right. All right.
All right.
Okay. I'm certainly, I would say it's certainly a better movie than like something like The Happening or Last Airbender or After Earth. I'll say it's better than Lady in the Water. Dragon, I think The Village is underrated, though, and that's where I'm kind of drawing the line here. I mean, it's certainly not as good as something like The Sixth Sense or Unbreakable or Signs. And I think it is better than Split, though. I'll give it that. I think it is better than Split and The Visit. So it's up there. It's up there. It's kind of teetering on the edge of Shyamalan's top five, I think.
All right, fair enough.
All right. But Dragon, do you know what they called me?
First name? Mister.
No, just ask the question. Just ask the question.
What did they call you?
They called me Mr. Glass.